Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Uncivil Law. I hope you're having a great day. Before you get too disappointed, my guest is not here yet, but that's okay. While we're waiting for him, I'm going to give you a bit of a summary relating to his ongoing cases so that you'll be informed. So you'll be informed, and hopefully we can understand a little bit better about what's going on in the case. So we will see if he wants to contact me at some point. Hold on. I need a link to send to Turtleboy. I thought I did that already. Oops. Maybe that's why he didn't join. I never sent him the link. That is stupid. Lol. Whoops. That could be my fault. Okay, I might be an idiot. I might have done a stupid. I might have forgotten to send him the link. This is why we have our mods to keep us in check when we do stupid stuff. Lol. Yeah. I did it dumb. It's my fault. No problem. We're here for it. Hopefully he'll be along in just a second. Lol. All right. So while we're waiting for him to join, which probably won't take very long, we'll give a brief overview of what's going on. Of course, Mr. Kearney is facing a bunch of charges relating to alleged witness intimidation, all of which is kind of stupid because it seems to all boil down to the weakest case of emotional harm ever. Like, I kind of understand it in principle in the statute. You know, you could cause someone enough distress, like in an IIED sense, or even an NID sense, right? So if it was intentional infliction of emotional distress, like the civil tort, or even negligent infliction of emotional distress, the civil tort, and you want to turn that into a criminal tort, that makes sense. But this is the weakest ass intimidation statute I've ever seen. Any fees apparently count, which isn't even good enough for civil law, but apparently it's good enough for criminal law. Joining us now is Mr. Turtleboy himself, who I forgot to send the link to because I'm a moron. How are you doing, sir? I can't hear you, sir. We wait patiently. He's a man of very few words.
Can you hear me now or no?
I can hear you now. Yes.
Yeah. All right. Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Always great to have you, sir. You're looking good, sir.
Try my best, you know.
Did we decide on purple versus green?
On it, purple or green? We might do both. I like those two colors. They don't really go together.
No, not really.
But I would be the first. So
turtles are green. So.
Turtles are green, so that's the appeal of that. But like, nobody does purple. Like, it's kind of like nobody does purple. And
is there a purple turtle out there somewhere?
There can be.
There might be. You know, maybe if you find a rarefied purple turtle, that can be your new mascot. It could be great.
Yeah. So I mean, if honestly, I would vote purple, but I understand. And plus, I got a green screen, so like, the less green, the better, honestly, because it just doesn't.
You'll have to switch for a blue screen then.
I have one. It's like pain in the ass to like take this down and put the other one up. You know what I mean? Pain in the ass. But
well, you're used to being a pain in everyone else's ass, so this should just be par normal for you.
Well, some more than others. You know, a lot of people like me, you know, but yeah, some people certainly don't. But I'll tell you one thing. I'm just right now is when the fruits of the labor are really starting to pay off, because we're just sitting back and watching them implode on each other.
Yeah, like, the implosion is fun.
Watching that, listen to the Kerry Roberts wine fest on Fox News about how she's not having her phone calls returned. Yeah, probably because you email them 1 million times a day every time your fees got hurt on the internet. And they enabled you, like a parent who just keeps giving ice cream to the disobedient child, and instead of telling them to shut up and eat their vegetables, they just kept giving them ice cream and let them do whatever they want. And now they're fat, and now they just need to stop and go away, and they're useless to the district attorney, and he just wants them to go away, and they're not going away because he has given them the impression that whenever their feelings get hurt for the rest of their lives, they can just call him up and he'll fix it. Like, he'll charge someone with something, because you can just do that at the DA's office. You could just charge people with felonies whenever you feel like it.
My feelings are hurt constantly. I'm very sensitive inside.
Well, I'll try not to hurt you then.
So there is apparently some breaking news, which I didn't know about until 5 minutes ago because I was at the gym doing some exercises and I didn't see the news. Apparently, your favorite judge and mine is no longer in the criminal division.
Yeah. Funny how that works. The timing of that's interesting. You know, this woman went out of her way to stay on this case. There was a motion to recuse her in July of 2023. Yep. And, you know, they had there was no like solid proof of, you know, a pre-existing relationship between any of the witnesses and her, but there was a lot of like the appearance of it. Like, you know, this Auntie Bev thing that we call her, that came from Matt McCabe's brother, Sean, who's a real nut job. And Sean messaged me. I saw him talking on Facebook about, knowing Beverly Cannoni. And so I sent him a message. I go, do you really know the judge? And he goes, who? Auntie Bev? Whose seaside cottage do you think we're going to bury your corpse in? And as it turns out,
Spicy.
He lives down at Cape Cod, a couple miles from where Auntie Bev does in fact own a seaside cottage. And so how would Sean McCabe know that? Like they apparently live close to each other. They probably see each other around town. Who knows? He seems to know that. And so she doesn't have to know him, but the appearance of knowing him is all that should matter. Like there's a million other judges that could do this, but she had this like sick obsession with staying on this case. And even when, you know, they rotate these judges, like there's been other judges on the Reed case, a guy named Peter Krupp was on for a bit. He's the one that issued the preservation orders for the McAlbert's phones. So they rotate these judges in and out all the time. And it was supposed to be a judge by the name of Daniel O'Shea that was supposed to be starting in July of 2023. He was supposed to take over the case. But she is what's called the RAJ, the Regional Administrative Justice of Norfolk County. So she's kind of like the scheduling boss of all the other judges. And so if she wants to stay in that case on that courtroom, she gets to just bump any judge she wants. So she got to stay on it. And it was weird how much she wanted to stay on it. But now, coincidentally, that the Karen Reed case is over, she has decided to move to neighboring Plymouth County. In fairness, she does live in Plymouth County, so maybe it's a shorter commute. I don't know, but
I'm sure that's what it is. It's after all these years, it's just the commute has finally gotten
the commute. Yeah.
You
know, and so I guess she wants to go there. She's no longer working in the criminal division. It's the civil division, I guess, and that happens to be the exact venue where Karen Reed's civil case with the O'Keefes is currently playing out. So wouldn't that be, I mean, I know from speaking with Karen Reed, it's like the judge annoys her more than anything. I think Alan Jackson would seem to agree with that. I mean, the judge is like, that must be the first thing that they were thinking when this is over. Like, what am I going to miss the least about not coming to Norfolk Superior Court every day? Seeing Beverly Cannoni. And then she suddenly shows up right to where he's at. It's like, are you kidding me?
I should ask before we continue, how long do you have tonight so I can manage the time appropriately?
Whatever. Can wing it.
Okay. Fair enough.
What do you look at? What are you thinking? I mean,
I don't know. I just want to know if I had time constraints, so I respect your time.
No.
I'm a nice guy.
Oh, I appreciate that. I don't have any other time commitments tonight, so you know, there's no pressure to get out of here or anything like that.
Excellent. So exactly, I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about it, but I do got to ask at least one question. Just how sweet is that post Karen Reed verdict high? Are you still feeling it?
Oh,
will it ever end?
No, I don't think it ever will. Like, I'm not over it. I can't move on to new things yet. Like yesterday, I went on TikTok. I'm getting into TikTok now.
Nice.
And it just the algorithm kept feeding me videos of people's live reactions to watching it. I must have watched like 30 or 40 different, you know, people film themselves actually watching it in their homes and just watching it. And like, I'm not the most emotional guy in the world, but like, I'm like crying. I'm like watching this stuff, like sitting in my living room, just like tears coming down my eyes, watching video after video of these people and how happy they were from this verdict, how much happiness this thing brought them. And I'm like watching it and it's like, wow, this is, I'll never get over how this never gets old. I know the exact moment when the crowd reacts. It's like right before the not
Kind of
guilty
hard.
verdict
It's
is
kind of
read.
hard to ignore.
Yeah, right before the third verdict is read, that like because of the delay or whatever.
Sure.
And I've said this before. I did not know this. This is impressive that the crowd outside, that when they first heard the not guilty verdict on murder, they didn't cheer. That was not the scream, because I always wondered that. I'm like, what was that scream from the not guilty for murder, or the not guilty for manslaughter? Because if it's for the not guilty of a murder, would anyone even be able to hear it? Everyone's got their phones out. Could they even hear the manslaughter one, which is really the most contentious one? Or
Sure.
did the crowd have the discipline and the understanding to know that if she's not guilty on the first, shut up, we got to wait for the second one. That's the one that really matters. And it did. So they waited for the second message to come through, and or the second verdict to come through. And that is when they just exploded. And I watching Yannetti cry and the hugs. And it's like, that was just, it's the best. It's the best. There's no, and I'll never get sick of it. I can watch it every single day and I'll just never, ever get sick of it.
What do you think is better, the ambrosia of the sweetness of the supporters' cries of support, or do you appreciate better the salty tears of the people who want to see her go down? What is richer to you?
Oof. Honestly, the latter. Like, if I'm being
I appreciate
honest,
that. The Schadenfreude is real. I
they're
understand.
both, it's like 40-60. Like, they're both great. I'm kind of down off the high of the not guilty, loving that. I've moved on to just enjoying the tears at this point, because
Respect.
It's just they're turning on Morrissey now, because it's like, and I love it. I'm like, this guy has bent over backwards for these people. He got me jacked up by the popo, sent me to the can for 60 days, did everything that he possibly could to appease these people. He could have just told them, get over it. Sorry, guys. He's got a First Amendment right. There's not much we can do about that. But no, he's like, you know what? We're going to exploit this witness intimidation statute to punish him and only him. And I'm going to do that for you guys because I care about you, because I got your back. And then the second the trial ends and they keep calling him and he's like, dude, leave me alone. Right now they're just like, oh, now we're going to turn on him. Now we're going to turn on Morrissey and spill the beans. Go for it. Please do. We will all be sitting here with our popcorn watching every single minute of it. It's going to be great.
No, I mean, it is very, very sweet as well. So you seem to be doing pretty good so far. I mean, you've certainly had several of these charges dismissed for the bullshit it is. I'm not sure whether or not they believe in the First Amendment. That's not how we do it in Massachusetts.
No. There's no First Amendment here. And, I'll be honest with you. So
they haven't gotten the memo from 1791 yet.
And the revolution started in this state, but apparently they didn't get it. But so, yeah, like when this first happened, so in March, we had our motion to dismiss hearing, right? On the McAlbert indictments. There was 16 of them. And, we waited a couple months, and on early May, some point, or mid-May, we got the alert that 6 of the indictments were dismissed and 10 were not dismissed. And the dismissed ones were the 3 conspiracy charges. Me and Avon, a dispatcher from the town of Avon, were charged with conspiracy because on September 25th, 2023, Jennifer McCabe's Jeep was pictured outside of Michael Proctor's house. And so if that's actually her who's inside the house, well, that's a big story, because these people aren't supposed to know each other. Remember, Michael Morris, he's like, he doesn't know any of the witnesses. Then why is she at his house right now? Like, we got you right there. But
she's there to do she's there to do some light plumbing work. It's what she does in her off time.
I don't know, but I am the diligent reporter that I am. I decided that I was going to, verify that this is actually Jennifer McCabe. And how can you verify that a car belongs to another person? You look at that thing on the front called a license plate, and that tells you can find out
the thing that's in public view.
Yeah, that thing. And
okay.
So I make a post on social media and says, I need someone to run a license plate for me. Now, keep in mind, I have done this a million times over the years with my content. Like I used to write a lot of stories about handicap parkers, people who illegally park in handicap spots. And I hate those people. And I had like an ongoing series where I would just shame them. And because I hate them, they're the worst. They're cheaters. Like everybody wants a handicap spots, and these pieces of shit take them. And then like some lady in a wheelchair can't get into the store because this douchebag here didn't feel like following the rules. So I used to always just say, I need a license plate run. And I would have like 5 or 6 people message me who are like tow truck dispatchers or police dispatchers or private eyes. There's a lot of people who have access to license plate information. It's not a big deal. And so I go, I need somebody to run a license plate for me. I didn't say what it was for. I didn't say this is for Jen McCabe's car. I didn't say it's a car at Michael Proctor's house. I just said I need a license plate. And so I had about 5 or 6 people message me. I gave them the plate and it comes back. All of them send me the same thing back. Jennifer McCabe. It belongs to Jennifer McCabe. Okay, cool. Got him. Just like I thought. Big story. I write it. And that's what we call journalism. Like when somebody proves that the district attorney is lying, it's doing a journalism, right? And like you used to win awards and shit for that, but not in Norfolk County. You get charges for that now. So they decided that the dispatcher who was one of the many people who sent me the information regarding that license plate had engaged in a conspiracy with me against I believe Jennifer McCabe was the only stated witness at the time, but then they added on Michael Proctor and Elizabeth Proctor. So we conspired to do what? Because conspiracy is not a crime. It's conspiracy to commit.
Yeah, to do some sort of criminal act. Yeah.
Right. And so this was conspiracy to commit witness intimidation, also known as conspiracy to commit journalism, if you will, or conspiracy to prove the district attorney is a liar. I think is a more accurate way.
We're having a conspiracy right now to have a live stream.
Yes, we are. And
it's exciting.
You know, they decided that this is illegal. And so that was a rather flimsy charge. So those 3 charges were all dismissed. The other 3 charges that were dismissed were the witness intimidation charges against Bukaki there and Proctor. So Bukaki, I got indicted for him over a 1-minute video where he's coming out of court on September 15th, 2023. I got my megaphone and I'm like, Sergeant Bukaki, why didn't you look into the Ford Edge? Why are you doing this? Why are you, why I called him Michael Proctor's bitch. I said that you're, I kept calling him Bukaki loser. He brandishes his gun, kind of shows us the gun, does this thing with the middle finger, rolls the windows down like a real hardo. Right. Mm-hmm. It was ridiculous. You got indicted. And this is a grown ass man with a gun and a badge saying he's intimidated by me. Right. That was dismissed. The Michael Proctor witness intimidation charge was dismissed because it was all based on a phone call I made on one of my shows, which I aired to the public. And I just left him a voicemail saying, hey, Michael Proctor, this is award-winning journalist Eden Carney. I just have a couple questions for you. Why did you lie about what time the car was towed? You know, I went down my whole thing there. And it wasn't threatening or anything like that. It was just legitimate journalism. But what they got me on was I read his phone number out loud on the show. And then he's like, I got all these harassing phone calls and it caused me emotional harm. And I had to change my phone number. Oh, no, not changing phone number. I mean, you guys do that all the time. You just throw them in dumpsters. Big deal. I mean, that's what you guys do, right? True. Like somehow a phone number is a sacred thing they can't get rid of. So yeah, like I had to, so that one was ridiculous. That got dropped. And then the 6th charge that was dropped was the picketing charge against Michael Proctor. I'm charged with 5 counts of picketing because I did a rolling rally in town in July of 2023. And I went to the homes of various people involved in this. And I peacefully protested outside for about 5 to 7 minutes at each one. And Michael Proctor's charge was dropped because he wasn't home. The statute says you have to be inside the building for you to be a victim of picketing. So the remaining charges from the original indictment, which each carry 10 years, are felony witness intimidation against Juliana Nagel, Chris Albert, Colin Albert, Elizabeth Proctor, Jennifer McCabe, and Matt McCabe. So that's 60 years right there. And then there's 4 picketing charges left, which each carry 2.5 years. That would be for let's see, I forget, Matt McCabe, Jen McCabe, Juliana Nagel, and Brian Albert. So that's 10 years, another 10 years. So we're up to 70 years now. Now I've picked up more charges since then, though. I got the 2 window intimidation charges with Chris and Colin Albert.
I didn't know you could intimidate a window.
I didn't know either. But apparently, if
a window has feelings,
evidently, if it's illegally recording you, it does. I did not know we were being recorded, like audio recorded. First of all, we were plastered. If you look at the video, we had way too many red sangrias and roll out of CF McCarthy's. The pizza shop is closed, whatever. I'm like standing there waiting, and I'm like looking, and we parked right next, like Chris Alberts is right there, right next to CF McCarthy. So like I go by it, I'm waiting outside, I see a blinking light in the window, and I just stare at it. And next thing you know, Will comes up from behind me and does the whole, he's like, let's do a thing here. So we start putting on a little show for the ladies. They're laughing about it, right? Nan Gallagher thinks it's a hoot. Lauren Murray's laughing. Everybody's having fun. Mazda was there. We're having a good time. It was nothing. We weren't threatening anyone, and we didn't even know he could hear us. We didn't know we were being recorded. And I woke up the next day with a bad hangover and 2 more felony charges, which had
it's even worse hangover.
Yeah, so that's 20 more years right there. So that's 90 years I'm facing. And then the fake victim, Lindsay Catani, I'm also facing 10. I got a witness intimidation charge with her. Hers is the weakest one. It's weaker than the window intimidation one because it's all my other charges are on video. Like I put stuff on YouTube, and I felt like I proudly filmed myself doing all this. With Lindsay, it's just a bunch of shit she claims happened at her apartment. It's just ridiculous. And so basically the gist of her thing is that Brian Tully, so she got mad at me when I ended things because I found out my baby Clay wasn't real. Right. And so then she immediately, because I wouldn't talk to her anymore, ran to Krusty Panties, who got her in touch with Ken Mello and Brian Tully. And according to their messages, which we have, right, they said that, we are going to come up with some bogus witness intimidation charges for him. We're going to get him on bogus. And they said they have this like plan that they're going to turn Lindsay into a witness. What is she a witness to? I don't know. But they're deputizing everyone a witness. And because she's had conversation with me, and so she has dirt to spill. I think that was their rationale. And so they gave her on December 22nd, a fake grand jury summons. We say it's fake because it was scheduled for the 27th, but I had already been indicted on the 20th, and there was nothing more to talk about. So she was never going to be called. It was bait. And Brian Tully specifically told her, send it to him and get him over there. And because he's going to want to talk about this, like act like you don't know what's going on, act like you need help, act like you need a lawyer. And so, she did her part. She got me over there, and I didn't feel comfortable going into her apartment because I just don't trust this woman. She's been talking to Brian Tully and all the and Krusty Panties. I go, so we sat in a common area. Unknown to me, according to the police report, she called Brian Tully and Ken Mello, and the 2 of them were sitting there eavesdropping, also known as wiretapping, listening in to our conversations in the lobby. And they convinced her, get in the apartment, go in there, right? Get him in there. And so she did. She made up a thing about one of her kids waking up or something. And the second I did that, it's now my word against everything that transpires in this apartment now is my word against hers. And so she claims that I hit her and all this other nonsense. The assault charges was dropped the day that I was released from the can. And, but the witness intimidation charge remains because she claims that like, oh yeah, in there, he was telling me what to say and that I had to testify a certain way or else. I mean, it's just such nonsense. And it's like, so that's another 10 years. And then I got a wiretapping charge with her for another 5 years. That's another felony because she wouldn't let me leave the apartment and I had to get home. It was like Christmas Eve at that point. And
that sounds a little bit like kidnapping or false imprisonment.
Yeah, it was more like blackmail imprisonment. Like, so she said that, like, look at, if you leave, you can't leave me. She took the abortion pill in front of me. She's not pregnant, right? Just to make me stay, because it would like cause her pain. It's manipulation. I'm like, okay, this is getting crazy. I have to leave. And she goes, if you leave, I'm going to come to your house right now with my kids, and I'm going to bleed out in your driveway, and I'm going to have this abortion in your driveway. And I'm like, okay, can't have that on Christmas Eve. That'll kill the Christmas spirit. And so I'm like, well, I saw she had
Why would it kill the Christmas spirit? Red's a Christmas color.
Okay, that's nasty. All right. But she would have killed my fake baby. It's not real. None of this shit's real. But the driveway's real. So that's the problem. Is like, I don't need her showing up on my property, right? And so I'm like, okay, she'd woken the kids up, and they're all like, one of them gets out of bed and he's like, looks traumatized. He's 5. And I'm like, I can't. Okay, I will stay here. So I agree to stay. I'm taping the whole thing, thinking like, if anything happens here, I've got this all on tape. So I'm good. Right. And lo and behold, the next day, she wakes up, she calls Krusty Panties for a couple hours. They talk. And then by early afternoon, she calls Brian Tully, and Brian Tully comes over her apartment. It is around 1 o'clock, that they decide that, oh, he hit her. Like, this was not mentioned. She didn't call the Medfield police. Nothing like this happened. Just after talking to Krusty Panties and Tully, she suddenly remembers that she was hit and that she was witness intimidated. And so they call the Medfield police, because Brian Tully knows the law. Brian Tully knows that's automatic arrest. If there's any sort of domestic violence situation, whoever gets to the cops first wins. And so she gets to them first, because and then I find out there's a warrant. And so I go in on December 26th to turn myself in, and go into court knowing this tape. I'm like, this tape is going to save me, because this tape is like, shows that she's threatening to hurt the kids and isn't letting me leave. And this tape is great. Right. And the judge apparently hears a different version. I don't know what this judge heard, but he revoked my bail over it. And so then when I'm in the can, as it turns out, Krusty Panties is talking to Tully and Mello. And at some point, she sends them what she claims is the unedited version of that tape. And that version does not contain the words, I'm recording this, which my version does, right? So that
seems like a pretty big omission.
Yeah, she's gotten rid of it. And so for that, I was charged with wiretapping, because in Massachusetts, even if there's been instances in Massachusetts where women have recorded their partner being abusive to them physically and mentally, and they've been charged with wiretapping for it, because they don't let them know, they don't let them know. So, yeah. So anyway, so that's 105 years for all that. That's the summation of the charges. But when 6 of them were dismissed, I'm like, okay, that's good. But then I'm reading his ruling, and I'm like, man, this could be a problem, because like Jennifer McCabe is such a prolific liar that, and I'm kind of messed up from the Ronnie situation, just hearing him, because I'm like, I don't want to leave my freedom to the fate of 12 Ronnies. And, like what if Jennifer McCabe gets on the stand is convincing? Like, what if she does her whole, I'm just a normal mom and we are being harassed and there's semen everywhere and doxing and blah, 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 blah. I mean, this is what they say, these people, like they're professional victims. And so I'm like, what if she convinces one of these people, if I'm convicted of one of these things, that's like 10 years. I can't do 10 years. That's crazy. So I'm like,
you'll probably only get like 2 or 3 for a first time offense.
I can't go at all. It's like, come on. It's like, I have kids, I have like a lot of going on. Like, I can't afford to do that. So I'm like, I was a little bit worried in May, but ever since the verdict came back not guilty, the tides have turned, man. They like the general sentiment now is, even from the antis, is he's not going down for this, because I'm not. I'm not going down for this. We have all, because we got all the ammo now.
You shouldn't. I mean, I understand the statute in principle, or at least what I hope they were trying to do. I can imagine a situation where a person puts someone under so much emotional distress, it should be criminal, like criminalizing like intentional infliction of emotional distress, basically. But the way it's written so openly that this creates huge problem because it doesn't really specify the level of emotional distress in the statute. And so the boundaries on an as-applied First Amendment challenge, which is your situation, can get very tricky, as I'm sure your lawyers have informed you. But I think it's pretty bullshit.
Well, thank you. I mean, who cares? In America, it's not a crime to cause emotional distress to people. Like, everybody does it. Everyone causes emotional distress to other people. I don't know anyone out there who hasn't caused emotional distress to someone. You know, everybody, every political commentary, everybody who does political commentary causes emotional distress to the other side, right? Every MAGA commentator causes emotional distress to the left. There's a lot of freak out videos the election of Donald Trump in and of itself caused emotional distress to like 80 million people, right? Like if any of those people are witnesses to a crime, right, or in any kind of case, he could be guilty of witness intimidation in Massachusetts and not even know it. It's like you're allowed to cause emotional distress to people. Your emotional distress is not my problem. It's something you need to talk to your therapist about.
Have you thought about channeling a little Britney Spears? Oops, I did it again. Played with your heart. Got lost in the game.
To who?
I mean, to your critics, because you broke their heart. You know.
Oh yeah. You know, I mean, we laugh about it, but it is laughable because some of these are grown ass men, like Chris Albert.
Are they though? Are they?
I mean, they're of age. Like Chris Albert's like in his 50s, and he's up on the stand. He took the stand in the grand jury saying, that, I'm scared of Turtleboy. He's causing me harm. He's doing this and that. It's like, dude, you're Chris Albert. Stop it. You killed a man. Like, you obviously don't care. You love this stuff. When I was flushed out of court on February 26, 2024, when the fake victim, Lindsay Catani, showed up with the McAlberts to kick me out.
Don't you remember these guys testifying in the first trial? I mean, seriously, some of these guys have apparently no emotional regulation. Higgins isn't exactly leading the charge for emotional awareness, even as to himself, let alone other people. Brian Albert seems like a preppy asshole who's never been told no in his life.
Brian Albert or Colin?
Colin Albert.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Brian Albert's like 6'2", 250, boxer, veteran Marine, and he's scared of Turtleboy because I have a YouTube show.
Marines are famously scared of turtles.
I've never even seen Brian Albert in person before he testified. That was the first time I'd ever seen him in the flesh. How can I cause so much harm to somebody who I don't even see? I don't even see any. I'd never seen Colin Albert before he testified. I'd never seen him in person. The first time I ever saw Colin Albert in person was the C.F. McCarthy's incident in June of 2024, when they threatened Meredith and I outside of C.F. McCarthy's after we were just trying to get a meal of food. And then they started yelling shit at her and sexually harassing her and trying to provoke me into like defending her honor, which I did, mind you. I mean, I did stand up for her, but like they thought, they were hoping that I would, have a physical reaction to it. And I'm not stupid. I'm not going to do that. But I am going to tell you, like, keep your hands to yourself there, pal, like relax. And she'll tell her that. She'll tell him that too, get out of here. But these people suck. And all the crying that they're doing right now is just so delicious. I'll never get tired of it. And I just have a feeling, I just think it's going really well right now with all this discovery we've gotten. Like, it's good to be on the offensive instead of the defensive, which is where I feel like we're at right now, is that we have all this information that they don't want the public to know about. That's how bad it is.
100%.
Because they don't want the public knowing about this stuff. And boy, when it comes out, like, this is going to be like some WikiLeaks shit. This is going to be, you guys, we're going to have content for like a couple months.
Now look, Aiden, I have been blackpilled on these promises of great revelations as of late because the Attorney General herself, Pam Bondi, promised me that she was going to release information. Just wait until the information is going to be released. It's so explosive. She promised me for months, Aiden, and then nothing. I don't want to be disappointed. My poor heart can't take it.
Yeah, I haven't been following that stuff because I'm so knee deep in true crime now that I don't have time to follow that. I know a lot of people on the right are upset because they were promised big things with Epstein, and then that appears to not be happening. They claim there's nothing there. I don't freaking know. But yeah, it's.
Are you going to let me down?
No, I'm not going to let you down. It's going to be juicy. It's going to be great. Trust me, it's going to be good. It's going to be real good. And you know, we're waiting on Judge Doolin. How it works is I think he gave Cosgrove a couple weeks there to file some sort of response to our motion to unimpound the stuff. I don't know what his argument's going to be, but you know, we'll see.
It hurts the fifis.
Yeah, I guess so. I get, you know what his argument, I'll tell you what his argument's going to be. I'm going to predict it right now. His argument's going to be that this stuff should remain impounded because the defendant has a YouTube presentation with a lot of viewers and he's going to share all that information to his audience, right? That's literally going to be their argument, is that if I didn't have a YouTube show, you could have all this shit, but you're a different kind of defendant. You have a YouTube presentation with a whole bunch of subs. So you're dangerous. Your platform, your ability to talk that's the threat, is you talking about this stuff.
Apparently the threat is your ability to talk, given what they're charging you with. Apparently
yeah. I mean, it's literally, I mean, think about it. Like that rolling rally that we had, there was hundreds of people.
The rolling rally was pretty hilarious. That was great.
And who's the only one charged? Me. Who is the only one charged with?
I mean, obviously you are the leader, the Don, if I will, of the organization.
But if
I'm going to make them a rally they can't refuse.
But if the whole thing was an act of witness intimidation, then why am I the only one being charged with it? Right? We all did it, you know, like, yeah, I had the megaphone, right? Has immunity been offered to the other people to
were any of the witnesses at the rolling rally, or were they too busy hiding behind their mother's skirts?
The McCabe's claim that they were home. Juliana Nagel was home. Brian Albert was not home. The Proctors were not home. So,
but were they there? Otherwise, how are we intimidating them?
Just
reasons.
Okay. Yeah. There's whatever, you know, they're scared.
So let me make sure I understand this correctly. You could theoretically be having a rally theoretically anywhere, and it wouldn't matter because it would hurt their feelings.
As long as it's on video and broadcast, as long as they could see it, as long as they could watch it, then it would be, you know,
what if I film it? Is that different?
I don't know. It's a good question. I mean, that's a fair question. These questions need to be asked because my lawyer is.
I'm just trying to figure out how deep the stupid goes. Does it go pretty deep? It seems pretty deep.
That's what my lawyer asked. He's like, what specifically was the illegal part? Was it the megaphone? Was it having a big audience? Was it, you know, the fact that they had cars because they were nobody went on any lawns. Nobody went on any property. It was like 7 minutes outside of each house. And honestly, I was inspired to do it by seeing, like I'd seen on TV, these people that went to all the Supreme Court justices' homes during when Roe versus Wade. It was, remember there was like a couple weeks there.
I do remember.
It was
there was at least one guy who was arrested for having a gun.
Well, that guy like said he was
home.
Kavanaugh. I think that was a different incident. It was like during the Roe versus Wade thing, there was a couple weeks there where there was rumors that it was going to be overturned. It hadn't happened yet. And
then there's the draft opinion that got leaked. That was good.
Yes, it was the leak. Exactly. And so that inspired all these people to be like, what? We got to stop this now. And so they went to all the homes of the conservative justices and protested outside the homes. And, you know, on the right, people were saying how outrageous this was and how it should be stopped and blah, blah, blah. But ultimately, free speech won, as it should. And, you know, no one was charged with anything. So I'm like, if you can protest outside the home of John Roberts or Justice Kavanaugh, one of those people, right? Then certainly you can protest outside the home of Jennifer McCabe. Certainly you can, right? Because ultimately, I mean, John Roberts and Brett Kavanaugh are doing their job. Jennifer McCabe actually Googled how long to die in cold. So like at 2:27, and people have a right to be outraged about that and just kind of voice their, let us know. Like we weren't expecting to change anyone's testimony. We were just like, murder is bad. Like killing
murder is bad.
Right. And so like, we're just like standing up and raising our collective voices and saying, we disapprove of this. We think you guys suck. And you're allowed to do that in the United States of America. Stand up and say, this guy sucks. This guy's bad. I don't like this guy. He did a bad thing. And I want the world to know about the bad thing that this guy, like, what planet am I on where you can't do this? Everybody does this. I've seen this a million times before. Brian Laundrie was never charged with murder, but there were people protesting outside of his house when Gabby Petito was missing. Scott Peterson took for a while for him to get charged with his wife's murder, but there were people outside of his house demanding that he come outside and talk. Aaron Hernandez, for a week, it took a week for him to get charged with killing Odin Lloyd. There was media outside his house. I guess
everyone who's protesting basically outside of every criminal trial ever, because obviously the defendant at least is a potential witness, and the crowd outside could be intimidating him from exercising his right to testify.
P. Diddy, OJ. I mean, Derek. How about Derek Chauvin? Like a mob showed up at his house because before he was charged with anything, demanding that he be arrested for murder, right? Because they believed he was involved in killing George Floyd, that he was responsible for killing George Floyd. So they showed up at his house and they demanded his arrest, right? And that was a legit mob that they had outside there. Wasn't illegal. He wasn't a criminal defendant yet at that point. So that's the way I viewed what I was doing with Jennifer McCabe. I didn't view her as a witness. I viewed her as somebody who was under federal investigation because she was. Like, this is right in the heart of the federal investigation that was ongoing. In my mind, these people are going to get scooped up by the feds any day now. So yeah, of course I'm going to protest them. Like, why wouldn't I? As it turns out, the feds let us down. But it doesn't change the facts that I believe she did this 100%. I would bet anything on it that she was involved in covering up the murder of John O'Keefe. For that, if you can't protest that, then what can you protest?
Are you going to get a piece of that Karen Reed book deal? Maybe write the forward or an afterword or something?
I have my own book deal.
Ooh, can you tell us anything about it?
Yeah, I mean, my rights are owned by a company called Compelling Pictures, which is actively right now. We've been filming the documentary that's going to be coming out in 4 to 6 months, and working on building the motion picture film. So they need.
Can I get a cameo?
We'll see. I don't know. I'm not in charge of that, but ultimately, so they have my rights, so they can they couldn't do a movie about me without my permission. Whereas we could do a movie about Cameron without hers, because she's a because she's like the public figure or whatever. Not that I'm not, but I don't know how it works. They need my rights. They don't need hers. And so we're doing our movie regardless. If she wants to join our project, she can. If not, good luck. But also the book deal. So my rights are owned by Compelling Pictures to do the book deal, and we'll be shopping that out as well.
Sweet. I look forward to reading it. I look forward to reading everyone's book.
Yeah, it's going to be great. And we're going to be consuming this content for a while. I mean, my trial, my case is, I'm happy it started to get a lot of attention now that the Karen Reed case is over. Like, Lawyer, put out a poll the other day, or today actually, about like, what case should I cover next in this? And I was happy to see that like the most commonly mentioned case was mine. And so I'm happy that this case is starting to get the coverage it deserves, because it's outrageous. It's outrageous what they're doing. 105 years for what? Me, little old me. I have a bad rep. I understand that if people don't know me, if they don't haven't actually watched
Get
what
some
I do.
get some thug life tattoos on your knuckles.
I mean, geez Louise, I don't even have any tattoos. It's like I'm the weakest thug gangster ever. I'm just a guy on the internet who likes to, do a YouTube presentation twice a week and a sex cult on Thursday nights.
Excellent.
And so it's like I don't hurt anyone.
Are you the leader of the sex cults? Because otherwise, it's kind of a bad deal.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Okay.
That's the whole point. I'm a leader, not a follower, so I started the sex cults, it's mine. They do as I say, and we have a great time every Thursday night.
It's the way to fly. What snacks are provided? That's real key.
You have to join to find out.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
I guess that information will come to me at a later time.
Yeah.
So I hear Mr. Cosgrove promised you some discovery.
Yeah.
I also have some discovery for you. I have another 4,000 pages of discovery for you. So I'm just going to send you 8 reams of still bound printer paper and call it a day.
We couldn't believe that when we got that. Those are just Tully's emails. I'm like 4,727 pages of Tully's emails. Okay, sure. And it started off pretty good. Like the first one was from Krusty, and it was a great one. We're like, oh wow, this is juicy shit. And then it turned into, like, by page 50, everything before we even got to the blank pages. Then we got to like 50 straight pages of redacted. Everything's redacted. And then there was like printouts of the state police body cam policies and procedures. That took about 15 pages. And then there was like, here's the Bettero letters. That's like another 50 pages. And then here's a motion that you guys filed in there. And that's in there. And like some of the stuff we'd seen before. And we're like, bro. And then everything just turns blank. Starting on page, like, I don't even remember, like page like 500. Everything was blank after that. Over 4,000 blank pages. I thought it was my computer. I'm like, is my computer just not loading? Is this shit not coming up? And I asked Bettero and Bradle, and they're like, no, it's blank. They gave us over 4,000 pages of just
totally blank
paper.
pages is a new one. I haven't heard that before, to be honest.
And it's not like 4,000 pages where it's like every 10 pages actually has something on it. Like, so they can't even say that, like, well, there's just one page and then like the email just printed out extra pages. Like, no, it's not like everything's blank. Every single page after like page 500 is just blank. And how many times in court the other day did Cosgrove like brag? Like, oh, I'm giving them 5,000 pages of discovery, blah, blah, blah. Well, the pages are empty, my dude. And my question is, did he know about this? Did he know about this? Honestly, I doubt it. I mean, he just doesn't seem like he's not crafty enough for that. Like I feel like Tully just tells him like, oh, here's 5,000 pages. He ain't reading that.
But are the pages really empty? I feel like there's an existential meta commentary about to be had here about the nature of what information is, and are the pages really blank?
Well, it's a metaphor for the charges against me anyway. They're empty.
Fair.
Very
good.
Like, it's
like
bullshit.
it.
There's nothing
Very
on
good.
it. So I mean, that makes sense.
Excellent. I appreciate that answer. I imagine your lawyer is going to be filing a motion for some clarification.
Oh yeah, and I mean, how many motions? We've had so many motions to compel over the same shit over and over again, but there's no teeth to it. Like we've had a million judges. It's always like a different judge, because they rotate them in and out.
You think I could sneak in there since Bev is now a civil judge? You think I could sneak in there, put on a wig of some kind, and start ruling our case? So you think anyone would notice?
Well, we never had Bev, luckily. I would think that would be some sort of conflict if she was the judge in my case. Luckily,
it's really me in a way.
Yeah, I know, but it's like, I don't know.
I will dress up to help you if it will get the job done.
Yeah, but I don't think, I don't know. I just think that you should be forced to hand this shit over. I mean, there should be serious consequences for this stunt, but as we've seen a million times before, there are no consequences. These people do whatever they want. Hey, hold on. Give me like a 2-minute break. I just got to take care of something real quick. I'll be right back.
Okay.
All right.
Sweet. How you doing, chat? You having a good one? I'm having fun. Now I suppose is a good time as any to kindly remind you that I do live off your super chat and support. Please donate to the channel. I am not beyond asking. We've got this lovely QR code up here, which will take you to my Ko-fi page. That benefit of which to me is Ko-fi only takes like 3% as opposed to YouTube, which takes like 30%. It doesn't cost you anymore. I mean, $10 is still $10 to you, but instead of me getting $7, I get $9 and like 70 cents or something like that. It's obviously a much better deal. So yeah, that's the preferred method. And yeah, and also of course you could hit that like button. That's nice. And we do have the cheapest memberships in the game. They're literally only 99 cents a month to be a member of the channel. It's true. I literally cannot charge you less. So hit the join button. It's 99 cents a month, man. What can you buy for 99 cents? Not much, but you can buy my love. You can't even get things off the dollar menu anymore because it doesn't exist. There is no dollar menu. Lame. So throw 99 cents my way, please. Throw a little money in the tin and, help Uncivil, eat and stuff. Oh, that's great. Also, I have a bit of an announcement, I suppose, since we have so many people here, because I would like to brag a little, or at least celebrate with you. So I bought a new watch. Very exciting. And I'd like to share with you this new watch. I see Aiden in the background. Just give me 1 second, Aiden. So I bought this new watch. This is a German watch. It is the Zinn U1. And as you can maybe see there on the marking, it has 1,000 meters water resistance. Very chunky, very cool. It's made out of German submarine steel. You can see there, it says U1 1,000 meter. Very exciting. So I got this chunky big boy. I got it used from Japan. I got a pretty good deal on it. It's like $2,800 or $2,900 retail. I got it for $1,500, and that includes all the import taxes and everything. So I got a pretty solid deal, and it looks like new to me. All right, great. We'll bring Dr. Turtleboy back on. Thank you for indulging me during watch time.
No problem. I just said my son was here and he's getting picked up by his mother, so I had to facilitate that. So we're good now. Everything's good.
Cool. Excellent. All right. So, anyways, where were we?
I don't remember.
Something
about my charges being bunk, or we're gonna beat them all. I don't know, I just feel like it's like we have all the momentum right now.
Well, I mean, the Commonwealth basically accused you of intimidating people by saying life as normal as normal is over for the Alberts. But isn't that kind of just stating the obvious for anyone who's involved in a high profile case?
Yes, exactly. Like life as normal is like life will never be the same for any of you, regardless of whether or not I ever found out about this case. Like, you're a witness in a murder trial, right? You experienced something tragic, no matter what happened to you, no matter who did it or whatever. Like, this is a huge thing. Like, you're kind of famous now. Like, so yes, life is normal. And if you listen to that audio, I'm actually I'm providing commentary because a woman outside of the waterfall was in the waterfall bar and saw Chris Albert there, took a picture of him, and he lost it on her and he started freaking out. And so she starts filming him while he's like berating her. And she's like, he's going nuts. And I'm like, oh my God, Chris, I said, like, you need to relax, dude. I'm like, you guys are like, life is normal's over. Like, you can't go out to the bar anymore. People are going to take your picture. That's what happens. Like, you guys were involved in a cover up of a murder. People are gonna, if I were you guys, I just wouldn't go out. I mean, that's just giving my sound advice. I would, or pick somewhere else to go. That's what I've never seen. Brian Albert doesn't go out. He keeps a low profile. Higgins goes to the Cape, and chases cars down his street. Everybody else figures out how to keep a low profile, but Chris Albert and Jennifer McCabe can't. They're always in the middle of the spotlight. So causing shit, being, so what, like, I was just being honest. I'm like, life is normal's over. Like, so how's that witness intimidation? Insane.
I don't know how anything is a witness intimidation in this case. They have a very, very low threshold for witness intimidation. Incidentally, by the way, if you do unfortunately lose, in this case ever winds up going to the U.S. Supreme Court, I will take your case and I'll do it for cost.
Okay. Well, I would be in jail, so I wouldn't be able to pay anything. I believe, so
we'll do a fundraiser. We'll do a fundraiser. It'll be good.
Well, that's the downside of this is like this law is unconstitutional, right? And this
Yeah.
law needs to be scrapped, but the mechanism for that is appeals, which requires, of course, a conviction. So,
Yes.
and we'd like to avoid that at
Yes,
all costs,
obviously.
so I don't know. We'll see. At the end of the day, though, I feel I don't want this to go to trial because you never want to go to a trial. But I just feel like the momentum right now is all on our side. And I just have a feeling that the state is eventually going to lose their momentum. They're going to run out of steam because what all these charges on me came from the Karen Reed case, like, which is the big thing. Like, and now that's just fucking over. And I was watching Court TV the other night. They were talking about this. Vinny and a couple other talking heads were on there. And even the guy, like one of the guys who's like not a Karen Reed supporter by any means and doesn't like me at all. He's just like, what are we doing with this guy? Like, why are we giving this guy attention still? Like, can we just drop this? Like, how is this still going on? Like I just want to wait him out. And eventually they're going to like not want to do this anymore. Okay, fine. Take your fucking time. We'll do this whole back and forth where you give us 5,000. They're running out the clock, which quite frankly is fine by me. Because although I don't like being on bail, that's a little bit nerve wracking. But I just, if that's the way you guys want to do it, keep dragging this out and keeping me in this public spotlight and give me content, then I guess we can do it. But I certainly can't wait for this all to be over.
I've noticed also you've got this little Turtleboy effect where some social media pages seem to vanish after your blogs.
You mean my own social medias?
No, other people's social media.
Oh yes, that'll happen. Who disappeared this time?
Well, I was just noticing the systemic trend. I just wanted to ask, what is your funniest disappearance story that you personally have from all this coverage?
Well, I was indicted for one of them for Elizabeth Proctor. So Liz Proctor was contacting various people at their workplaces because they had made comments on social media that were critical of her husband. And so a lot of people are critical of Elizabeth Proctor's husband, and for good reason. He's a corrupt, disgraced cop. And early on, people, just random people, would comment. A woman by the name of Kayla, real nice lady. She doesn't live anywhere near Canton. She lives a couple hours
Wasn't
away.
Lizzie Proctor the name of that famous witch who was executed back in Massachusetts history?
In Salem.
Yes. Excellent. So
yes,
the
correct.
story continues, I guess.
Yes. So
I saw Lizzie Proctor speaking with the devil.
I mean, basically. So she's, she sees this, right, and decides she's going to contact this woman's employer, and calls him up and says, your employee, whatever her name is saying things online and this and that, and tries to get her fired. And she did to a bunch of people, right? She tried to get a bunch of people fired. And so I saw, when I heard about that, I'm like, oh, let's call her up. And so, because we got her number, because she called these people at the workplaces, their phone number came up. So we called her, and I'm like, hey, is this Elizabeth Proctor? She's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, it's award-winning journalist Aidan Carney. Click. So she, and I'm like, okay, fine. So I write about it, and then I put, since Liz Proctor likes to contact people's workplaces, she works at a company in Norwood called Instrom. Here's their Facebook page. Here's their Twitter account. If you want to share your feelings about her behavior, here's their phone number too. You can call them too, because turnabout's fair play, right? As it turns out, she's allowed to contact people at their workplaces, but you can't contact hers. Now, her company had to take down their social media as a result of this for a bit. It's back up now, but they had to take it down because, as it turns out, she can contact your employer as much as she wants, but you can't contact hers because she's part of a special class of citizen in Massachusetts called a witness, right? And witnesses have special rights to never have their feelings hurt. And so you can do that. People have been, this is cancel culture. Like, people do this all the time. Somebody says a bad word on social media, their workplace gets contacted. You know how many people have lost jobs over this? This is a tactic. And again, I play on the battlefield of their choosing. Like if you choose that you're going to get in the gutter and call people's workplaces, we're going to call your workplace. That's turnabout is fair play, right? But apparently not. So when I was charged with her, that was like one of the most surprising ones. I'm like, her? She sucks. She's not a good, she's a bad person. A grand juror even asks her at the grand jury, like, wait a minute. So you called people's workplaces because they were leaving comments about your husband? And she's like, well, yeah, because it was they're being mean and this and it's like, oh, and I'm like, yeah, see, that grand juror gets it. How the fuck did I get indicted? Like, who the fuck? I mean, like, who? Again, you only need a simple majority in a grand jury though to indict. So, and they only hear one side of it, but without even hearing my side of it, one grand juror was smart enough to be like, wait a minute, didn't you do the same thing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm also curious, obviously, with the Karen Reed trial being over, whether or not you've approached any of their lawyers or any of their lawyers have approached you as to possibly teaming up for maximum laws. I mean, Mr. Betterow obviously trying to join Karen Reed's case. So I figure like the favor might want to be returned by their side. So I was curious about that aspect.
He was actually courted to join their team by Karen herself because she's he's such an impressive guy. You know, when you see him on the YouTube streets, like he's sharp as anyone. And she thought he would be a great addition to the team. So as far as adding them, I wouldn't ask Alan. I can't, I'm all set. I mean, I would love to have him on my team, but I don't know. They're busy, I'm sure. And quite frankly, they're not as well versed in the First Amendment law as I think. I mean, Tim Bradle is just all about the First Amendment. That's like his thing. And same with Mark. He just really gets it. So they would be great additions, but I don't think it's going to happen. Although, when I was first arrested, October 11th, they took my phone. So I'm like in my dad's car driving back to my house. And I'm like, I can't even go on Facebook. I can't do anything. They have my devices. I'm like, I can't get on my socials. Like, what do I do? Who do I call? Like, I don't have anyone's phone number. I don't even know what to do. And so I Googled Worksman Jackson, whatever. And I just called their office and cause I'm like, they probably heard about this by now. I got to talk to them. I got to talk to somebody about this. And, I got the secretary over there and they're like, oh, they're in a meeting right now. Can I take a message? And I'm like, yeah. So this is Aiden Carney. They know me as Turtleboy. And then she's like, okay, hold on 1 second. And then a minute later, it's Alan and Liza on speakerphone. Nice. And they're like, yeah, we canceled the meeting. It's like, we got to hear all about this. And so one of the things that they did say was that we have to be separate. This is, we would not be able to defend you. Like, that's one of the first things that they said, and so I talked to David cause he's local and he did give me some references. Tim is one of the people that he, recommended and spoke highly of, but he himself could not get involved because he was already representing Karen.
Yeah, but that's over now.
It is. But, we'll see. I feel like I'm in good hands as it is now, but if this were to come to trial, I would definitely consider adding a third attorney to this. Really go full dream team. You know what I mean? Get a Barry Sheck in here or somebody like that, like a new specialist to come in here and handle.
If you want me to sit at the table and pretend like I'm doing something, I can submit a pro.
Yeah, I mean that's what Adam Lally did throughout a whole murder trial.
That's fine.
Bring the paper clips out.
It's fine. I'm happy to help with the paper clips and coffee.
Yeah,
and look scally. And I can make a First Amendment argument in a pinch. I know a lot of Supreme Court laws, but I'm sure he's even better than me. So I assume you'll be fine.
Yeah, they're not supposed to make laws that violate the First Amendment. That's kind of
that'd be good.
That's the whole purpose of judicial review is that, Congress shall not pass laws that violate the Constitution. But yet the state legislature in Massachusetts did. They just passed this law that basically says that you can't have opinions against witnesses because it disrupts the court proceedings. That's what Auntie Bev, that was her bullshit with the buffer zone too, was just like, oh, this is like disrupting the court proceedings and we need a fair trial. And that's not this. What are you talking about? It's a bunch of people in lawn chairs outside, mostly women, by the way, like middle-aged women.
Yeah, that's usually the way it goes for some reason, isn't it?
In lawn chairs, bothering no one, they're not out there with signs picketing and saying free Kyron Reed. Like nothing like that happened. It's just, I hate it how they always try to act like we're some violent mob and I bring a mob with me. Have you ever seen who I roll with? It's a pretty harmless mob. Okay. There's like people dressed as ducks and it's like, we're just having a good time. It's really freaking harmless. Like the people that Rita Lombardi. Oh no, she's so scary. She yells, she talks a lot. Oh wow, that's really bad. So it's like, it's just laughable. It's absolutely laughable that they try to make us sound like. If you actually know the truth, if you actually witness some of the stuff, if you've been to the rolling rally, you would have seen that like that day was like the most peaceful day. It was like the nicest. It was beautiful outside. I only spent about 7 minutes at each house. And then we came back to the Canton Police Department and we protested outside.
7 minutes in heaven.
Yeah. I mean, basically, you know, that's all that happened. And, you know, to say that was a felony is just madness.
No, it is pretty madness. I think you definitely have got the basis of an as-applied First Amendment challenge. And if that hasn't been filed already, it definitely needs to be.
But you know what they always say, though, that's a matter for the jury. You know, the judges always pass the buck to the jury.
Well, you really should do it just to make sure that you're preserving the issue. Like even if they're turn you down, I mean, you got to preserve the issue so you don't run into a problem.
I mean, that was our argument in our motion to dismiss.
Fair enough.
It was largely First Amendment, and they, you know, and the judge said that, well, yeah, you have a First Amendment, but the you know, the statute says that you don't have a First Amendment right. So what happens then?
Last time I checked, and I know I maybe I should double check. Last time I checked, this Constitution of the United States said it was the supreme law of the land, which means First Amendment beats Massachusetts statute because that's what it would be to being supreme. It has higher authority. So if the statute conflicts with the First Amendment wins. That's how that works.
Yeah, and they would argue, and I disagree with this completely. They would argue that, like, well, free speech isn't totally free. Like there are certain limits.
This is true.
There are certain limits on the First Amendment.
Of course there are limits.
They always say screaming fire in a crowded theater, which is actually not illegal. That was overturned, I believe.
Schenck.
Schenck was overturned by, I believe it was the was a Des Moines decision. It was a Warren Court decision that basically overturned it. So that's actually a myth.
Well, even in the Schenck decision, it said falsely yelling fire in a crowded theater because the whole thing was the falsely inducing panic. If it was really a fire, even Schenck didn't have a problem with that.
Right. And we look back.
That wasn't the reason that Schenck was wrong. The reason that Schenck was wrong is because they said, well, that is obviously blatantly illegal. And in the exact same way, passing out pamphlets telling people that they don't have to sign up for the draft is also equally illegal. So what made it bullshit was the comparison, because these are the same level of evil. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. And we look back on that and we're like, it's funny because we look back on that. I used to teach history and we all agree that like, that was a result of government overreach because everyone was worried in 1919 and 1920 that there was going to be communist revolution in this country because it was the Bolshevik Revolution happened the year prior. And there was a lot of immigration coming over from Eastern Europe and people were worried that these radical immigrants were bringing their radical ideas with them of anarchy. And there were several instances of violence in 1919 and 1920. The Attorney General A. Mitchell Palmer's house, an anarchist tried to send him a bomb in the mail. So there was a legitimate fear of violent revolution. And so whenever that happens, the government historically always goes too far and they expand their powers. Like 9/11 is the perfect example of that. Like, 19 nut jobs got into planes and blew up the World Trade Center. And now we all have to take our shoes off at the airport.
Well, we
forever.
don't anymore. They just changed that recently.
Right. Yeah. But you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
your civil liberties, when bad things happen, the government's like gets real excited because like, oh, nice. Now we get to curtail civil liberties because people aren't going to oppose it because people are scared. Whenever people get scared of something, right, then it's like, okay, to curtail civil liberties. It happened during in the draft in World War I is the perfect example of that, right? Like afterward, like that whole thing, that guy was just trying to pass out flyers telling people not to join the draft, right? And they're like, no, this is a national emergency. We need to be united right now. We're at war with all these countries and we need to be united together and this and that. And so with me, with this witness intimidation statute, they're like, no, it's okay. It's okay to limit his ability to speak freely because it's dangerous. His speech is dangerous. He's going to incite people to do bad things. He hasn't done it yet, but he might. We don't know what he's capable of. What's he going to say? What's his mob going to do next? They're just there. They're a mob. They're a bunch of people. They must have blowtorches with them or something, right? I mean, it's just, we've had no instances of violence. None, zip, nothing, nada, right? Black Lives Matter, right, was blockading highways.
It was mostly peaceful.
Mostly peaceful. Right? Yeah, burning down police precincts and all this shit. And what did the police do? They took a fucking knee. They're like, let me get on a knee for you and kiss your ass a little bit. And then maybe you guys will stop. But they didn't. And they did. And so I'm like, okay, if they could do it.
Do you have any black ancestry? You could give that a shot.
Well, it would. And it's funny you bring that up. I think that this would be very different if Karen Reed was black. People always say, like they always say, oh, you wouldn't take this position if Karen Reed was black. You're only doing this because she's a white woman. First of all, you show me a black person who has the mountains and mountains of exculpatory evidence that Karen Reed has. I'll gladly take up their case. Just point me in that direction. I'm all over it. Please. So please do that. All right. Secondly, if she was black, I would be able to play the race card. I would be like, it's fucking all you white people are framing a black person. My job would be a million times easier if I actually said that. And it would get the attention of liberal politicians in Massachusetts who otherwise have remained silent on this. We have a radical leftist governor by the name of Maura Healey, right? Who's all about, women's rights and all about Black Lives Matter and all this stuff, right? And she doesn't have a fucking thing to say about Karen Reed because she's the wrong color. She doesn't fit the box. So she's not going to stand up for her. So actually Karen Reed's race is actually a detriment to her in this, as far as galvanizing support. Karen Reed is so widely supported, not because of the color of her skin, but because of the overwhelming amount of evidence showing that she's innocent. That's why people are behind her. Or
at least the lack of evidence showing that she's guilty and the state completely fucking it up. Either way.
Right. That too. And the fact that it helps. It doesn't hurt that the McAlberts are like right out of central casting when it comes to villains. Like you couldn't come up with a more unlikable person than Jennifer McCabe. You can't do it. You couldn't come up with a more pompous, entitled, privileged douchebag than Colin Albert. It's like he was made in a lab. Dude, you are like every meathead jock ever who just gets away with everything because you're the captain of the football team, right? Chris Albert, you killed a man in 1994. You don't pay any of your taxes. Somehow you're on the board of selectmen. You're a douchebag. You're so unlikable. Like, these people are all the biggest villains and so easy to dislike that it made it. And people saw what they were doing to Karen Reed and they were like, oh, hell no. I know it. Everybody knows a Jennifer McCabe. Everyone knows a Colin Albert, right? They all know, everybody knows a Brian Higgins. Everybody knows somebody like this. And like, oh, hell no. That could be me. Like, I mean, that's why I empathized with her. Cause I'm like, I felt bad for her. I'm like, look at all these, like the forces of evil and power that have combined to take it out on this one woman and pin it all on her. I viewed her initially as like a damsel kind of in distress, right? But I quickly learned that Karen Reed is no damsel in distress. She's actually a pretty badass woman who I'm sure doesn't like being treated like that, being thought of like that at all. Like Karen Reed didn't just wait around for me to come, white knight for her, right? Karen Reed didn't wait for the free Karen Reed movement to start. Like Karen Reed was out there from day one working to prove her innocence, right? She was the one that was going through all their Facebook pages, right? Figuring out that Colin Albert was the ring bearer of Michael Proctor's sister's wedding, right? Working on the family connections, talking to Steve Scanlon, tracking down the plow driver. Like Karen Reed did all this before I was involved in this, getting the Google search that ultimately got my attention, getting that goddamn Google search out there, demanding to go through her phone a second time because they didn't trust the state police extraction of it. And that turned out to be true. So, yeah, I mean, Karen Reed is no damsel in distress. She is the wrong one to fuck with. And that's why we took that picture there on the day that she was acquitted, me and her with the fists in the air. Like last two I'd fuck with. Colin Albert's got a picture of that with some other douchebag named Rob Gooley. And we had always said a couple of years back, when she's acquitted, whenever these charges are dropped, that's like going to be, we're going to replicate that same photo and post it on social media. And we did.
Yeah. I mean, when they charged you for the witness intimidation by pizza shop window, that was the point when I'm like, they're really scraping the bottom of the barrel on this one. I was like, that is, I don't know if that's creative, if that's depressing, or what that is. It's like they are really. Who decided to bring that charge? Like who decided after like thinking about this that this was a good idea? That's what I want to know. What is that thought process like?
Well, they were hoping that I would be arrested and incarcerated. Like the whole point was bail revocation. I don't think the whole point was to, get a conviction. I think Brian Tully saw this as an opportunity. If you look at the police report, he recommends I be arrested that day. And luckily they didn't do that. They just summoned me for a hearing on this. But he wanted me have my bail revoked like over that. So, but you're right. Bettero had the same reaction to this is like, okay, this is actually kind of a good thing because it's just going to show how ridiculous they are. Like this is that you've lost your goddamn minds. A window intimidation. No one was there. No one was there. He wasn't talking to anyone. And you're going to say that this is a crime. If you actually watch the video, I'm not talking about John O'Keefe either. I asked Chris, I'm doing this act. It's like the ghost of Christmas past. And I'm like, oh, Chris, why did you kill Peter Berger in 1994? And in the report, Brian Tully makes it sound like I'm talking about John O'Keefe, like asking him, why did you kill John O'Keefe? All right. And so that pertains to the Karen Reed case, John O'Keefe. But Peter Berger is a Hungarian immigrant who in 1994, Chris was drunk on the highway and rear-ended him and killed him and left the scene sobered up, turned himself in 2 days later and served just 6 months in jail after his lawyer. Do you know who his lawyer was? Beverly Cannoni's brother was Chris Albert's defense attorney, John Prescott. And of course he was. And so
the incestuousness continues. I'm not surprised.
And so so I have a right to like, be like, this motherfucker killed a man. Like he actually killed a person. The only person in this whole sordid affair who has killed another human being with the car is Chris Albert. That's it. The only person who got run over by a car isn't John O'Keefe. It's some poor guy named Peter Berger who was here trying to get an education from his home country of Hungary and never got to go back home because Chris Albert killed him. And so you have a right to say that. You have a right to be like, this guy sucks. He literally killed a man.
Yeah. I mean, 100%. I mean, the whole thing is just stupid. So I do like the Canton cover-up series. I've been reading more of that on your website since the last time we've talked. It's very interesting. You have a very I like your writing style. How would I describe it? It is a bit provocative, it's a bit antagonistic, but I like it. It's a little edgy, but it suits you. And I think it's nice to see a little bit of flair in writing. I do appreciate that, as to opposed to the more safe stuff from mainstream media.
Yeah, I mean, I could be mainstream media. All they do is just, regurgitate press releases. They regurgitate, court filings, what the police say, DA statements, stuff like that. That's not news. People want. I mean, I guess it is, but it's like what they can find that out themselves. Like people want analysis of the news, and that's what I offer.
Sure.
Is that like, well, here's what I think of this. Right. And as it turns out, this is what a lot of people are thinking, which is why it resonates with so many people. They call me a cult leader or whatever. But I assure you, I am not that charming. And if the facts and the evidence,
Are you telling me the sex cult thing isn't true?
unfortunately, it's not. We jokingly call it that because there's this crusty panties thing. This person who, she claims that he's like, oh, he's running an online sex cult. That's one, and I'm like, oh, sex
I think an online sex cult would somewhat miss the point.
It would. I go, but that sounds fun. I'm like, oh, I can run with that. So in order to mock her, I've began calling my followers my sex cultists. So because I mean, a cult is like, somebody brainwashes you with things that are untrue, promises you big things that are going to come that never end up, and then they take all your money, right? And it's like that's what a cult is. With me, it's like I'm just laying out the facts, and it has come to fruition. Like she was acquitted. That actually did happen. So like everything.
If you really did run a sex cult, maybe you could invite some of these witnesses into the sex cult, because maybe they just need to get laid. Maybe that's the problem.
I think you might be onto something. A lot of these people are just miserable. Although Julie Nagel can't come. No, thank you. No, thank you.
Don't yuck someone's yum. There's someone for that woman out there somewhere.
Yeah, it's called. Yeah, her name's Chloe. That's about it. Like, yeah, I'm just saying. Julie, no, thank you. No, thank you. And I mean, a lot of them are just unfuckable losers. They look gross. They look fat. I don't know if you've noticed that, but like everybody on the McAlbert side is like gross looking and slovenly and disgusting. And then you look at Karen's team. That's the most attractive legal defense team you'll ever see, right? Everybody's in good shape. They're all like 60. They're all jacked. Nobody's like, you know what I mean? They all take good care of themselves. Then she has a hot blonde in her 30s who's like a legal genius. And then there's Karen, the 45-year-old, good-looking, Fall River smoke with or without an ass, up for debate.
Not so much with the ass though.
No, not so much.
And that Fall River accent.
Yeah. So like, but like it's like our side is much better looking. I will say that. Like, because you look at their side, you're like, bro, crusty.
You look good. Do you go to the gym?
I try to. What
do you lift in?
You mean bench pressing?
Sure, major 3. Sure, why not?
I can bench press like a little over 300 pounds.
That's pretty impressive. I respect that.
I'm trying. I'm just trying not to get, you know what I mean? It's like if you're physically sound, you'll be mentally sound.
Can you 3-plate it?
I can only do that once or twice. That's 315 pounds for that.
It certainly is.
Yeah.
Yes.
I could probably do that once. I don't try to get up that high. I usually do like 285, just a bunch of sets of it, but like 315's
That's respectable. That's a respectable lift, 3-plating it.
Well, I try my best. It's like a hobby. It's like if you start having goals and focus and you get there, it's like I don't know how to describe it. You're mentally better when you take care of yourself.
I respect that. Yeah, I've started trying to go to the gym more myself recently. I went to the gym today. Went to gym 4 days last week. So hopefully I can maintain this. We'll see how it goes. I'm
feeling better, right? You're feeling better. You feel good about yourself when you leave there, right?
Feel a little bit better about myself, like I accomplished something today.
Well, there you go. It's a cycle of depression. You sit in your ass, you don't do anything all day. It's real easy to get stuck in the rut, and I've been in the rut before. Then you just got to snap out of it. Like usually something bad happens and then you like snap out of it and then you start going, working out, and it is what it is.
That's cool, man. No, I respect that. And then of course, the attorneys for Karen Reed, especially Bob Alessi. 67. It's the 3-hour workout that he does. He says, like, I do a half hour, the bike to nowhere. Then I guess 2 hours, 45 minutes implicitly with like basically circuit weights where I try to like do it in aerobic fashion. And then I do jump rope in my hotel at night. I'm like, okay, great. So you're crushing me and basically everyone else in existence. That's fantastic.
But it carries over. I'm telling you, the fact that those guys take care of themselves affects their whole mental psyche. It does. It does. Because they're just right. Like you're fighters. They're always in shape. They sleep better. Like everything about them is healthier because they take care of themselves.
Yeah. Those guys are jacked, man.
It's like, and they're like 60. All of them are like Bob Alessi's like 68.
Yeah, I think it's 67, but yeah, either way.
Whatever
it's
it is.
Yeah.
I don't think his hair is really that color. I think he might be dyeing it, to be honest with you.
I could not care less at this
exactly
point.
But it's real. I think it's real hair. Who cares if it is? Either way, the bottom line is they're killer in the courtroom. They do great. And Bob
Alessi is who I hope to be. If I'm as smart, wise, educated, and jacked as he is when I'm 67, I'll be doing pretty good for myself.
Yeah. Wouldn't we all? It's definitely and I met his two daughters. They were at the dinner afterwards, and impressive young ladies as well, really smart, just talking about them growing up in the Alessi household. And one of the things that they told me was like when he came onto the case about like all the McAlbert stuff, like it was kind of he was a big proponent, Alessi, of not doing the McAlberts. Like, fuck this. He's like, we need to do shit that can't be debated, and you can't debate science, right? And
fair.
like, so like we need,
apparently you can if you're aperture.
right. But like you bring up,
I haven't pressed this button in a while.
You bring up all these McAlberts, and they all say that John wasn't in the house. And so now that's, we don't believe it, but it is testimony under oath. And if a juror believes that, there's no way that we can't be like, no, he wasn't. I mean, our argument is so it turns into a thing, a debate. And it's like, which side do you believe? Whereas with the science, like there is only one science, whether or not they want to admit it, there's only one science. And that's why Dr. Laposado was over and over again. It was just like, he wasn't hit by a car. This wasn't hit by a car. So that's it. Point blank. That's it. Over.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. If I ever get to interview those guys, I really want to ask them what they think went wrong in the first trial from their point of view.
Bad jury. I mean, I think that was what they would probably tell you is a bad jury. They picked really smart people because they thought that smart people would see through this shit. But I think that they ended up picking a bunch of people that overanalyzed it and thought they were like too smart almost, that were like, oh yeah, I'm smarter than Arca. Those guys aren't that smart. There was 2 engineers on the jury. And they were like, no, those guys don't know what they're talking about. I know what I'm talking about. I'm an engineer. Engineers love to tell you that they're engineers. And so they might have picked people who, had dominant personalities. And because they're intelligent people, they can convince other people on the jury that they're not. One guy on the first jury was a mailman. And he, I saw this guy every day and he looked like a nice guy. And I didn't picture him as a guilty voter, right? I'm like, that guy's definitely gonna be a not guilty voter. And as it turns out, he was one of the 6 original not guilties. But after they came back with the Tui Rodriguez charge, he was one of the ones that switched. Him, Ronnie, and one other juror. They kind of switched back to the guilty side because they're just pushovers. You know what I mean? He's just a guy just delivering a mail, and some engineer is in the room telling me that Arca doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about, that they're hired by an insurance company and they're scam artists, and that, the tech stream data shows this, and I'm going to listen to the engineer. And so they picked the jury that thought they were too smart. The last jury that they had was more regular people. It was more average. I don't know how to describe it. Like Paul, we've heard from Paula. Paula's a smart, intelligent woman, but she's just like fuck Jen McCabe. Paula Prado is a normal mom. That's what a normal mom is. Right? Is Paula. They
all seem pretty normal.
Yeah, like she's got 4 kids and is, working to get by, family, house in neighboring town, Walpole, like all this shit. Like she's the normal mom. Like, and like the Jerry Foreman, he's a normal guy. It's like, he's smart enough. He's got street smarts, he's not like one of these like engineer smarts guys. Like he's a guy that just sees through the bullshit. And he's like, if there was a dead cop in my yard, they're coming in the house. Like duh,
Yeah,
like,
probably.
duh,
Probably.
like that's
Yeah, I
all
would
it
think
is,
so.
And so something's wrong here. Something's wrong here. You just got to see through it. So, yeah, and honestly, Adam Lally was better. As boring and mundane as he was, he had his whole witness list and he called the whole fucking list. And it was excruciating at times and painful at times, but he called almost pretty much everyone on that list and we all had to sit through it. And at the end of the day, using Trooper Paul, he convinced 9 people that they're comfortable enough voting guilty on manslaughter. And Hank Brennan got 0. He got 0. And so all these people, if I'm the other side, the fact that they're still defending Brennan to me is wild. Like, bro, he let you guys down. Like, fuck that shit. Like, he failed you. Like, you guys might have liked him. You might have appreciated his style and the fact that he was trying to get Karen Reed and he was a douche to her and all that. But at the end of the day, it didn't work. And so how do you not hold him accountable if you're them? Like, I've heard nothing from the other side, any sort of criticism whatsoever of Hank Brennan. If I was on their side, I'd be like, this guy fucking sucked. We paid $550,000 for this bullshit. And then he paid $400,000 for Judd and he painted himself fucking blue. And then Shannon, that was the best we could find. We didn't look into this guy. We didn't figure out that he actually doesn't have a goddamn college degree. It's like, how is that not on Hank? Like, these are his witnesses. How does he not do a background search on Shannon and figure out like, oh shit, this is going to compromise me when I put this guy on the stand? It's going to, like, that was laughable. Like when they got him up there and he's like, yeah, so I've been in college for 17 years. It's like, at that point, you're no longer enrolled. You're just a dropout, dude. It's okay. You're not going back to school. It's not happening. Okay. A lot of people do
I don't know.
that.
He's, Burgess has been removed from the website, so he might have that opportunity to go back to school and finish that degree after all, man. Life is less in the way now.
He's going to have to find a new job. And, we have other communications and like in the Tully communications with one of the witnesses who I won't get into now because it's impounded, but you guys remind me when this comes out, when these are unimpounded, the Tully messages with one of the witnesses, one of the expert witnesses, and not like a McAlbert witness. It is fascinating. The origins of a lie, the origins of a bullshit prosecution. You see it all in writing and it's going to be good. You guys are going to love what we're going to call it. We're going to call them the Turtleboy files. And when and I'm going to slow roll release them too. I'm not going to release them all at once. We're going to do it like Elon did when he took over Twitter and he got access to all the, the files. He started doing the Twitter file dumps. It's going to be just like that. The Turtleboy files. We're going to slowly put these out piece by piece. We're going to have I'm not going to do it all at once. You guys are going to have to wait. I'm going to keep you. I'm a content king. I know how to catch you and reel you in and keep you on hook. I'm not going to give it to you all at once and let the internet go and do the whole deep dive. I will release the content bit by bit.
Very good. Well, I am certainly cheering for you. I'm rooting for you. And we definitely want to get some support for you. So how can people continue to donate to you? You can feel free to spam the chat, or I will, with link information.
Yeah. So you can just search on Google Turtleboy Legal Defense Fund. My Give Send Go will come up. That's the easiest way. You donate right to that. And, every bit helps because, like I said, we have an uphill battle. This is the kind of shit this is going to go on for a while. This is not going to end unless they just give up and throw in the towel, which is unlike them. This is going to go on for a bit. So we need to be able to fight this war. We got to keep going, and we might have to hire experts. I don't know. We'll see, because we saw what they did with Karen Reed. That's their plan, is to, to drain you of resources.
Yeah, that much is readily apparent.
And hope that you just quit. But like Alan said, we ain't got no quit, and we're gonna keep going no matter what.
And is there any trial date anywhere in sight, even a projected one?
None, because there's so many charges. I mean, that's the thing, is that we've got all the McAlvert indictments, and then there's the Lindsay Gattani indictments, and then there's the window intimidation indictments. And so we got to get, I mean, we haven't gotten grand jury stuff for the most recent indictment. So we got to get those documents. We have to see what these people said that led to the indictment. We haven't gotten the discovery from the Lindsay Gattani stuff, as far as like this recording that Krusty Panties gave to authorities. She is the lone source of information. We don't have all her communications we need. We haven't gotten Lindsay Gattani's phone back. There's just so much shit on our list that we need that isn't even coming close to done. And so, like, and they're doing it on purpose. They are hoping that this will all, that I will just kind of quit. I don't know what their fucking plan. I wish I knew their plan. I'll tell you one thing. Their plan is not to put me in jail. I think they know that's not going to happen. I mean, it's, even if I were to be convicted of any of these charges, even though the judge could sentence me to 10 years on any of these charges, like, judges see violent offenders every day in their courtroom, and often they give these
100%.
people chances, and they're going to look at the totality of this all and be like, wait a minute. Okay. So what damage did this guy do exactly? So who did anyone get hurt from this? Did anyone have a cut? Does anyone have a bruise? Anything? Okay. Okay. So no physical violence. Okay. Well, did he steal any money from you guys? Did he like extort you? Did he take money, wire fraud? No, nothing like that. Okay. Okay. Was there some sexual? Was he raping somebody? Did he molest somebody? Like, was there violence against a kid? So who the fuck is the victim here? And what is their victimhood? And so, like, even if I was to be convicted, I don't think they would have the balls, I would hope not, to sentence me to any real jail time, because who the fuck got hurt? In this country, we don't put people in jail because they go on a YouTube show and hurt Jennifer McCabe's feelings. It's fucking ridiculous.
I hear you, man. Well, if you have anything more to say, I'm happy to hear it. But otherwise, that sort of concludes my questions, which is an hour and a half anyway. So
I'm good.
It's what you said to do, man.
I appreciate that. And thank you for having me on. And
if you ever want to have me on your channel to talk, I'd love to join you sometime.
Okay. Absolutely. Yeah. Maybe we'll do a LawTube panel one of these days on mine, but we'll keep fighting this, and I appreciate your support, and thank you for having me on again.
No problem. You're the greatest. I'll talk to you later.
Peace.
All right. Peace. All right, guys. Well, that was a fun interview. As always, he's a great guy to talk to. I do enjoy his, I mean, to be fair, and, you know, I've said as much before, he definitely can push things in directions that at times have made me uncomfortable. I mean, not in a sense that I'm like, you know, would ever consider like a legal suit or something, not even if I could, right? But it's like, he's done things that I've found to be at times a little distasteful. So he can be not to everyone's taste, at least not at all times. But I suppose being polarizing at times is a virtue unto itself. But I like getting to know the person a little bit. I find him on a personal level to be, as opposed to, I suppose, some of his persona, because there's at least a little bit difference. I like to think I've gotten to know him a little bit personally from our conversations, although perhaps not as much. But to the extent I've been able to perceive a difference, I do like him on a personal level. He seems honest and forthright, perhaps slightly mischievous, a little bit of that Loki kind of thing going on. But, you know, hey, we need people to spice things up and make things interesting. And of course, the First Amendment is, at its core, meant to protect speech you don't like. That's the entire point. You don't need the First Amendment to protect speech that people agree with, because people agree with it. So you don't need the First Amendment. You only need the First Amendment for speech that people don't like and wish to oppress. That's kind of the point. You know, as Ian once said, you know, you could say, I like puppies. Not a lot of people going to object to that. So you don't really need the First Amendment for a statement, I like puppies. Probably going to be fine without the First Amendment. The First Amendment is meant to protect the unpopular, particularly, incidentally, and especially when it is the government that's being criticized, because that is when the First Amendment is at its zenith, right? The First Amendment is of lesser importance. Not to say it's not important, but of lesser importance when you're talking about, you know, speech to entertain or speech to, um, you know, make people laugh or speech to do a dramatic performance of some kind, right? Theater, most movies, most television shows, most of those things. That's not at the core what the First Amendment is for. At the core of the First Amendment is sort of expressed in the first sentence, the first words: Congress shall make no law, right? And so you can see that the fundamental point of the First Amendment is to protect people from the government, because it's the government who might want to suppress the speech in a legal sense. It's not a First Amendment violation for me to criticize Turtleboy, for him to criticize me. It's not a First Amendment violation for me to, say mean things or him to say mean things. It's not a First Amendment violation to, be catty or be sharp or be, anything else. But if, to the extent that there is a First Amendment issue like there is here, because Turtleboy, at least in prominent part, and I haven't really been able to so far see anything, at least in my analysis. Although to be fair to myself, my analysis isn't as deep as Karen Reed, because I haven't been paying the utmost attention. But I've been paying some attention, and nothing has crossed my desk so far, as it were, that makes me think that Turtleboy went beyond the lines in a First Amendment sense. And as I point out, the statute as written is probably valid on its face, because in order to be valid on its face, in order for it to not be valid on its face, it would have to have no lawful application, or substantially no lawful application. And the statute as written does have lawful application. So it's not invalid on its face. But that's where you get into the First Amendment challenge as applied, right? It's not necessarily invalid on its face, but it's invalid as to me. And that is a valid defense. And that obviously can get tricky, for various, because that is obviously by its nature a factually based inquiry. Because when you say, well, it's not invalid on its face, where the facts don't really matter, when you say it's invalid as applied, the facts matter quite a lot. And so, I haven't heard anything that so far has tipped a concern in my mind where I'm like, okay, this was too far in a First Amendment sense. Like, the statute is so broad as written that basically anything could have fallen into the conduct as written, because it's so unbelievably broad. So it would be valid except when it's not, right? And I haven't seen anything that he's done that wouldn't be defeated under a First Amendment analysis, that wouldn't defeat the statute as to him, as to a First Amendment analysis, because he has engaged, at least it seems to me, in journalism that seems to be classic journalism, and other reporters in the state have engaged in it at times, and none of them are being prosecuted. So it kind of shows you that this is being unevenly applied, if not, selective prosecution and all the rest of it in a legal sense. So, if I learn facts that change my mind, obviously I will say so. So I remain free, as always, to change my mind if the facts bear out something else. But right now, I'm like, well, it seems to me that his speech is protected First Amendment conduct. And obviously, the state can't make illegal what the First Amendment makes legal. So it is true, of course, the First Amendment has boundaries. The First Amendment's not absolute. But what I really hate is when people say that, and they say it in the Second Amendment too. It's like the First Amendment is an absolute. The Second Amendment is an absolute. I'm like, that's true. And then they sort of do the fallacy of, well, because it's not absolute, my proposal is therefore legal. And it's like, no, that doesn't flow, right? There are some proposals that would be legal, but it doesn't imply that your proposal is legal, right? Because just because the First Amendment, Second Amendment, and any other amendment has limits, or I would say borders is more appropriate than limits, which I suppose is the same thing, but I think borders is a more precise word. Just because the First Amendment has borders and the Second Amendment has borders doesn't mean that you can just necessarily change those borders at any time. The borders may be a bit uncertain at times, but whatever they are is static, because the First Amendment's been the law since, 1791, as I mentioned before. So that's sort of my analysis as it goes. And, we'll keep watching things as they develop. And given what I know right now, I certainly hope that Mr. Kearney will be acquitted, if not the case is being dismissed against him, because right now it all seems like a lot of bullshit. You know, yeah. So I don't really buy really any of this. So not at the moment, I don't. But we'll see how it goes as it does, and we'll go from there. All right, let me read some super chats. And I do appreciate, obviously, Turtleboy giving me so much time as he did. That was very kind of him. I know he's very busy, with his cases, which are ridiculous. And I appreciate him giving me as much time as he did. That was very, very kind of him. So thank you, Turtleboy, for your generosity and grace. I appreciate it. Tony B gifted 10 gift memberships. JGA Hello Kitty became an uncivilian by hitting that beautiful, beautiful join button. V Kaser sent 5 gift memberships. Amy's Positive sent $2 to say Donatello TM, where's the purple mask? He sure does. Not That sent $20 saying, you're on it tonight. Thank you. I saw a couple compliments in chat relating to my humor. So at least some of you seem to like it. Thank you. You can't please everyone, but as long as I'm making most of you happy, I'm doing fine. Tony P sent 20 gift memberships. Annie L sent 20 gift memberships. MZ Peach Easy sent 10 gift memberships. Amanda Page sent a gift membership. Dave in Hobart, Washington sent a very generous 50 gift memberships. Let's give Mr. Dave in Hobart, Washington a special congratulations, and we'll give him a little aperture science.
Aperture science.
For his 50 gift memberships. Thank you so very, very much. Geraldine Bitterich sent a gift memberships. Michael Carter sent 20 gift memberships. Joss H, $5 said the feds were investigating MSP and the Norfolk DA, not this particular case. Absolutely true. Evelyn Eilers sent 20 gift memberships. Paul Young sent 5 gift memberships. The Goodmans sent a gift membership. Andrea Clark became an uncivilian by hitting that beautiful, beautiful join button for only 99 cents. Andrea Healy became an uncivilian by hitting the beautiful, beautiful join button. Lynn Britton has been a member for 23 months and said, almost 2 years of your love. It's been an awesome ride. Love that we're riding the Crowd Daddy train now. Lol. Mama Beth sent 5 gift memberships. Ann M became an uncivilian by hitting the beautiful, beautiful join button. Ladybird became an uncivilian by hitting the beautiful, beautiful join button for only 99 cents. And then Ladybird sent 10 gift memberships. Wallflower became an uncivilian by hitting the beautiful, beautiful join button. MZ Peach Easy has been a member for 2 months. Stephanie's been a member for 2 months. Woohoo for $19.99 said Turtleboy for president, or at least Norfolk County DA. Melissa Ford became an uncivilian by hitting the beautiful, beautiful join button. Serenity RPH became an uncivilian by hitting that beautiful, beautiful join button. So beautiful, so wonderful. It craves your presence. It wants to be stroked. It wants to be teased. It wants to be pressed. Make it say ooh. Make that join button moan a little. It wants it. Sham Wow for $5 Canadian said, you both are so great together. The wit, the snark, the knowledge. Please do many more. Despite the look on my face, you're still talking. Nice. Became an uncivilian. Thank you for hitting this beautiful, beautiful join button. Lynn Britt for $5 said, when the window thing happened, I thought, what the hell? After seeing what happened, I went, oh my God, Canton is scared that the receipts will show he's able to show. Very well could be. Miss Macy gifted 20 pounds, saying great interview. Thank you. Sham Wow for $5 Canadian said Aiden should get a lifetime membership at Uncivil Law because he's absolutely uncivil, and that's what you love about him. And you, Kurt. I wish I could. I don't have the ability to gift particular people memberships. YouTube doesn't allow for that. Maybe someday. Maybe someday. And Ginger, 3855 with a very wonderful $150 super chat. That is glorious super chat. Said, watch fund. We do need money for the watch fund. Thank you for paying 1/10 of my watch costs. As I'm sure many of you guys know and appreciate, watches can get expensive, and $1,500 is considered pretty entry level, to be honest. Um, you know, even a couple $1,000s is considered entry level in the sort of you know luxury tier, and $1,500 when the watch is like $2,900 new, when it's basically in like new condition. I'm telling you, I can't find a scratch on it. I can't find a scratch or a ding or anything wrong with it. It looks perfect. So $1,500 for like new condition when it's $2,900 new is a pretty good deal. Also, it is pretty competitive at the current going market rate. So in the event that I change my mind and want to sell it, I should be able to sell it for what I got it for, if not a slight profit. So if I ever change my mind and want to flip it, I shouldn't be out anything. But for the moment, I'm loving it. And it makes me happy. Even though I have a watch that looks literally exactly the same. I have a watch that looks literally exactly the same, except it's a Chinese homage. So the watch that looks exactly the same in every single way cost $120. The German watch costs $1,500, $2,800 new. Now, to the German watch's credit, the homage, it says it's 200 meters, but that isn't certified. It's not certified by anybody. The German watch is made out of submarine steel and is actually certified by the German DIN standard, which is actually more stringent than ISO. They test it at 1,250 meters because they tested it at 125%. So they test it at 1,250 meters to make sure it's still a run. And it's made out of German submarine steel, which will probably be okay in salt water because, submarine steel. So, and, it has a crystal that's designed not to pop out. There's a little steel retaining ring inside the inside the crystal to hold the crystal in place. So it doesn't have a helium escape valve. Not that I would go saturation diving, but in principle, if I did go saturation diving, helium gets into the watch, even if it's screwed down, because helium molecules are so small that they can get into the watch. Even if no water gets in, the helium can get in because the helium molecules are so small. And then when you're ascending, that can cause the watch crystal to pop off because of the pressure differential, right? Because of the helium gas that's inside there. So it could cause it to pop off. So most watches solve that problem with a helium escape valve to let the helium out. This watch solves that problem by not allowing the watch crystal to pop out by having a retention ring. So the watch is so strong, it doesn't need no helium escape valve because it can stand up to the pressure differential. That's how hardcore it is. Pretty badass, if I do say so myself. So yeah. Plus it's German and made in Germany, and that, increases costs and stuff. So, all that good stuff. Yeah. Am I going to do deep sea diving? No. I've never been diving of any kind. I've never been deeper in the water than, basically just swimming around. Except in a pool, maybe, where I've gone like 10 feet deep, and maybe I suppose in the ocean too. For how long I can hold my breath. It's the principle of the thing. It's the principle of the thing that it could. It's the principle of the thing that it could. So you got to flex some way, man. You got to flex some way. Even the deepest saturation divers only go like 650 meters. So like no saturation diver would go to 1,000 meters anyway. The watch is over engineered for any possible practical application. That's not the point. The point is to be badass and, durable and shit. So all that good stuff. Greetings from Germany. Yeah, which brand? Zinn. SINN. I'll show you again for the German lovers. Made in Germany, because of course it is. I'll show you again. Focus. Focus. There we go. The Zen U1 automatic. Just barely read that red text. 1,000 meter. Looks good, man. Also, the bezel itself is tegimented. It's hardened steel. So the bezel itself is like rated for like 1,300 Vickers or something. So the bezel is very difficult to damage as a result. I wasn't able to get a fully tegimented version, but it's cool. It's a big boy though. It's 44 millimeter. It's a 44 millimeter. It's a big boy, man. You know, definitely has some wrist presence. Show you the back of it again. It says U1 there. 1,000 meter. And then it's got writing in German. Is it German? And see there it says U-boat. You could probably just read that. It says U-boat Stahl because it's U-boat steel. Ooh, very cool. Of course, with a name like Kurt Mueller, you can probably tell I have some German heritage. So I'm going back to my roots. Just a slightly German name. I don't speak any German, but you know, I have a name for it at least. It's heavy. It's not as heavy as you'd expect, actually. It's only like 130 grams, which isn't actually that bad. It's actually not that heavy. The weight isn't too bad for the watch, to be honest. And it doesn't feel that bad. Good stuff. Do I dive? No, I don't dive. I don't dive. It has no practical application for me or basically anyone else, to be honest. But no, I don't dive. It's the principle of the thing. It's that it can. My watch can beat up your watch, and so forth and so on. Yeah. Did I do a DNA test? At one point I did. I am 100% Northern European. I am the whitest white guy that you can possibly have, apparently. 100% Northern European. Between England and Scotland and Germany with a little bit of Nordic in there. So I am incredibly white, in case that wasn't obvious. Super duper white. I bought a U-boat? A little bit. A little bit I did, yeah. All right. Well, that's enough watch talk, I guess. So, in the interest of wrapping this thing up and taking a break, I'm going to sign off. Please make sure to check out my community tab if you don't mind. I post my workouts there. If you wouldn't mind giving my workout a little like, trying to boost engagement a little bit, I'd appreciate it. Just giving the workout a little like, maybe leave a comment, show some love, encourage me a little. I could use some encouragement. I know that the numbers aren't super impressive right now, but I'm trying. We're making progress. So one step at a time. So are the glasses working out well? They're working out pretty well, although I'm considering getting this darker tint version of this. So I'll keep debating that. But so far so good. Yeah, the glasses are working out okay. All right, good stuff. All right, I will sign off for now. I love you guys as always. I've been Uncivil Law. Till later, my friends. I hope all's well. Cheers for now, my friends, and goodbye.